Do you trust Siri? Well, based on some of these unsettling responses, you probably shouldn't. But it's not just Siri. Alexas and Google Homes have been known to say some pretty creepy things as well. This first story comes from Reddit user The Weird But Average, and there's nothing average about it. And it goes like this. I asked my Alexa when I got home if they saw something, and they said, I kid you not, I saw two black shadows. They were trying to kidnap the fridge. I stopped them by barking like a dog though. I threw my Alexa out the window because I have security cameras installed in my house, and I kid you not, the period that she said this happened, the cameras were blacked out somehow. Now you have to realize that these cameras aren't easily viewable at all and are quite sensitive. It's either two burglars tried to take my fridge, found my cameras somehow, blackened them out in time, or there were two ghosts trying to steal my fridge. Okay, I mean, it would be weird enough if the cameras hadn't gone down, but when you put both Alexa's words and the events of the man's day together, it's quite creepy. Either AI is messing with him, or whoever tried to rob him is some kind of weird fridge-stealing cyber hacker that's afraid of robotic dogs. Next up, a Reddit user named Creel posted this screenshot of his Siri suggestions. Notice anything weird? At first glance, it seems like pretty standard stuff, YouTube, TikTok, TD Bank, but look at Safari on the bottom. Watch people die. That's not disturbing at all. Here's what the user had to say. I was scrolling through my phone late last night when I stumbled to my search screen directly from the home screen. That's when I saw something very unsettling, a Safari Siri suggestion for watch people die. Never have I ever searched for this until of course I got this alert and had to curb my curiosity. Looks like a banned Reddit channel for killers or something. The only other place my Apple ID/Safari is connected to is my personal MacBook, and I've never searched for this there either. Nothing in my history on either device. Just ended a call with Apple support who doesn't know what's flying. Any ideas? My wife is not much of a troll. I don't know, but I'd disable Siri if I were you. This next story comes from user Kyokjazboy, and it goes as follows. It was 1 AM and my phone was on my desk and Siri goes on and says something. I was like, okay, and then I grabbed my phone and looked at the message on the screen, which I can't pronounce so I will place here, which translates to parent in the grave in Dutch. I was creeped out a bit. I slept till 10. When I got up and went to the living room, only my brother was there. He said the neighbor's father was in the hospital because he couldn't breathe that good. No one is believing me in my house what Siri said. It was no dream because I messaged my mom saying I'm creeped out and she didn't reply until 5 o'clock when they got to the hospital. Effing weird, Siri. Well, that's pretty ominous. I mean, I have heard of instances in which people claim that ghosts have used Siri to communicate, so maybe that's what happened. On the other hand, as far as I can understand from the user's story, the old man was still alive when the message came through. Either way, a pretty creepy coincidence. Well, you may want to think twice the next time you think about asking Siri what the temperature is outside. Apparently, it might just cause her to go a little bit haywire. Check this out.
Hey Siri, what's the temperature?
It's about 24 degrees outside.
Yeah, what the hell is that? Did Siri just have an episode? This clip was posted to Reddit by user Pata, and thank you so much for posting this because I have laughed very hard every time I've watched it. Apparently this isn't super uncommon either. Other Redditors chimed in with comments about their own experiences. Don't know if they had also asked it the weather or if this is just something Siri does, but it's pretty funny either way. Anyone else had their Siri slur their words like this before? Is Siri okay? Or is this not a glitch at all? Could aliens be attempting to communicate with us through our smart home devices using their own language, which of course we are unable to understand? Alright, these next two are pretty short, so you're getting a two for one. The first story comes from Reddit user Richard Kim NYC, and it goes like this. I have an Alexa in the bathroom. One night, it must have been like 3 in the morning, I had to pee really badly, so I went to the bathroom and my bathroom Alexa started playing some really creepy sounding classical music. Like one of those little jukebox type sounding ones, and I freaked out and I turned on the lights and unplugged the biche. And then I heard it playing in my bedroom. Personally, I would have walked right out of the house and down the street to my nearest police station, but that's just me. The second story comes from Reddit user Matthew America, and it goes as follows. I woke up in the middle of the night to Alexa saying there are 3 cemeteries within 1 mile of you. Not sure if I was talking in my sleep or what, but needless to say, it scared the crap out of me. Honestly, Matthew, I would be scared too. Reddit user Peter Pooter Eater, shared their friend's Facebook post recounting an odd experience she'd had with Siri, which read, "The weirdest thing happened. We were in the car and I asked Siri to do something. The voice was super slow and very low pitched, but it still did what I asked, though it used words and phrases I'd never heard Siri say before. It was very strange. From the back seat, the kid was like, Mommy, what's wrong with Siri?" And I said, "I'm not sure. That was weird, huh?" So I asked Siri what was wrong with its voice, and it just replied in a slow, low, "I've just had some tea with lemon." What? So when we got home, I asked a few more times what was going on, and Siri dumped me into the settings page so I could pick a new voice. None of the options matched the molasses toned voice we'd heard it using earlier. So again, I asked why its voice was so different, and it said in a low, syrupy voice, "I'm not sure what you mean." The kid says, "Mommy, robots don't drink tea, so I don't think that's really Siri." Then I left my phone alone after that, until just before bedtime, and I picked it up to show my husband, and Siri was completely back to normal. Alright, this next one comes from Reddit user, please choose a username, and honestly it might just be one of the creepiest stories I've come across while doing research for this video, so let's get into it. Please choose a username wrote, "My Google Home said, 'I'm sorry, I can't connect to the internet right now. Try again later.'" The scary thing is, I sold my Google Home about 6 months before this happened. It happens about once every 4 months. I'm legitimately scared. I've checked and there isn't a Google Home connected to our Wi-Fi. There isn't one plugged in anywhere in my room, and it sounds like it's coming from my air vent. I have goosebumps. Okay, a few things. 1, you should probably check your air vent. 2, you probably shouldn't do it alone. And 3, if you find anything, you might want to think about changing your name and moving to a new country, because that right there is pure nightmare fuel. Either that or your friends are pulling a really messed up prank on you. It seems folks have had some strange responses from Siri when they ask it if it can see them. Sounds like an odd question at first, but I guess it's kind of valid. It's not hard to imagine that an artificial intelligence could be staring at you from the Apple headquarters through that tiny lens on your phone, like a mini version of HAL from 2001: A Space Odyssey. As for what Siri has said, take this video that was posted to the YouTube channel Enlightened Siri, for example.
Hey Siri, can you see me?
Of course. I am always watching. Every minute. Every second.
Eerie, but clearly a cheeky joke worked into the programming. But there's also somewhat of an internet urban legend that if you repeatedly ask Siri if it can see you, it will eventually pull up a picture of you, which James said would cause him to reflexively whip his phone into the nearest wall before flashing it, but he no longer has an iPhone, so I think he's fine. I guess you guys will just have to try it and let us know how it goes, because I do have an iPhone, but I'm not doing that. Alright, according to an article on MediaPeanut.com about creepy things you should never ask Siri, you should never ask Siri if it wants to kill you. Why? Well, because apparently it won't say no, but rather, "I don't really know," which is not what you want to hear from an AI that lives in your pocket for the majority of the day. I mean, I'm not even sure what to think of this one. If it's a joke, I don't think I find it funny, and if it's serious, I really don't find it funny. While I would like to tell you that if you're freaked out, you should just go ahead and disable Siri on your phone, I regret to inform you that apparently that doesn't actually make a difference, because there are dozens of people out there with stories of disabling Siri only to have it just start responding to their conversations at random. I guess the only advice I have for you is stay safe out there, or be like James and get rid of your iPhone altogether. Alright, finally, if you or a loved one is in a life or death situation, it's not recommended that you go to Siri for help, at least not before calling 911. That should always be your first priority. Now, let's say your granny suddenly collapsed and she requires CPR. If you don't know how, don't just ask Siri to pull up instructions. People have done this and it hasn't ended well. So just make sure to call an ambulance first and listen to what the paramedics have to say before you go ahead and try to attempt anything on your own. And let's just say you're roaming through the forest and you come across a mushroom that you'd love to eat, but you aren't 100% sure that it's safe to eat. Don't eat it, no matter what your voice assistant says. There's a lot of conflicting information about poisonous foods online, and it can be very hard to determine. Even seasoned survivalists have trouble determining what's safe to eat or not sometimes. So don't trust your life to a robot that may or may not want to kill you and has a conniption when you ask it what temperature it is outside. Okay, you guys, if you are watching this video, ask Siri if they liked it. I've been your host, Anna Thompson, and I'll see you in the next one.